the Supreme Court and SNAP. So there was a ruling by a Rhode Island judge, federal judge, who ordered the government, Donald Trump's regime, to release $4 billion in SNAP benefits so that the SNAP program can continue and people are not starving. Donald Trump's regime appealed that to the First Circuit Court of Appeals, and there are two cases there for the First Circuit Court of Appeals to give an opinion on, to give a ruling on, and it hasn't done so. So what Donald Trump's regime did was to skip over the First Circuit Court of Appeals, go to the Supreme Court, and ask for an emergency stay on releasing those SNAP benefits until the First Circuit makes a ruling. So Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson put a stay on the ruling of the district courts that ordered the government to release the SNAP funds, and said that we are going to put a stay on the SNAP funds until the First Circuit rules, and this stay would expire 2 days after the First Circuit's ruling. Because Donald Trump has also asked for Supreme Court's review on this matter, no matter how the First Circuit rules. So, as a real matter, what I don't understand, what really irks me, is that the Supreme Court, through Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, thinks that it is all right that SNAP benefits have been paused for a week now. And the justices, including Justice Jackson, must be so removed from the reality of the SNAP program and the food assistance program that they simply don't understand that not having food assistance for a day is a big deal. Not having food assistance for a week is a really big deal. And that all depends on how quickly the First Circuit comes out with a ruling, and then how quickly the Supreme Court renders its ruling on whether the SNAP funds can be released or not. And I don't understand how the judiciary, higher up you go, the appellate circuit and then the Supreme Court, they don't see the urgency of the matter as serious as somebody's food being taken away from the table if they don't get their food assistance. I mean, I somewhat understand them taking their sweet time with, say, the tariffs case or with a birthright citizenship case. Yeah, that's some constitutional matters to discuss, some real statutory interpretations to parse in the case that has to do with the tariffs. But in this case, the SNAP funding was meant to be there for emergencies, and this shutdown qualifies as an emergency for which the SNAP funding and any other resources that the government has to be released so people in need don't starve to death or starve to malnutrition. So we don't end up doing to our very people what the U.S. government, what Donald Trump's regime has done to children all around the world by cutting off U.S. aid programs. This is now beginning to happen inside the country. So how can the judiciary stay quiet? How can the judiciary put a stay on something as critical as food? Is something that I don't understand. It's something that I will never understand. I continue to see the lower courts ruling properly and bringing Donald Trump back in line. And because Donald Trump said that he's never going to follow a lower court's ruling, he said it explicitly quite a while back, we are just accepting, and the appellate court and the Supreme Court is just accepting the lackadaisical schedule, no matter what the topic may be, no matter how urgent the matter may be, which it is in this case. It is about feeding Americans who are in need. With that said, with utter frustration, I thank you for watching, and please get the word out. Please make it known that once Democrats get power, Supreme Court reform needs to be a top priority. So should appellate court reform. When it comes to how quickly they have to render their opinions if issues of life and death of immediate concern come before them. So they can't just, lull it over to the next day and go home, have their healthy meal, and go to bed. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.